Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chaos TV's coverage of the Riot Turkey International Invitational number 3. It was 10,000 euros on the line, and we're into game number 3 of tonight's best of 5 series. 2 games up for Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse. So they come into match point, looking to take home their share of, like I said, that $10,000 prize. I'm Rapid. I'm here with Spuddington, and of course all of you amazing people. So thanks for coming out and watching as we hop into game number 3.
Yeah, welcome back everybody. So Cloud9 Eclipse, by the way, are going to be losing one of their bans this game due to, I believe, quote-unquote negative behavior. So that was why Cloud9 Eclipse are just going to be letting that one time out. But I believe from here on out we should be seeing some completely normal bans and picks. And I really have to say, I think Dark Passage this game need to ban out LeBlanc, and I think they probably will be able to, because C9 Eclipse have this time, since they can't first pick him, had to ban out Riot.
Yet actually both sides losing one ban for unsportsmanlike conduct. So yeah, we did have one there at the very end. So it's only 2 bans for each side, 4 bans total, and that's going to leave up a lot of champions. But like you said, you have to take out a few of them, and one of them, yeah, like you said, has to be that LeBlanc, because for Dark Passage, they were actually winning out their top lane. Fabulous's Irelia was doing so well, made me really happy, and then it made me really sad because Pabivin was just able to roam up and kill him over and over again. So 2v1s aren't fair, man. We gotta see some more equality out there. And while we will have equal bans, this time it's Dark Passage to take that LeBlanc away.
Yeah, that is obviously an understandable way of doing it. What they've done there essentially is they've said, no way, no how is C9 going to be allowed to run that style that they really love to run, or at least as best as they could possibly do, given that there's only 2 bans. So, with LeBlanc being picked away from them and Lee Sin and Kha'Zix, Coop's favorite junglers, being taken away, it does force them onto slightly less capable, aggressive, early aggression jungler in the form of Evelynn first off, but they still get the Leona. Now, will Dark Passage take away Sivir? Because that is another key component to the way C9 Eclipse loves to run.
Alright, so yeah, for C9 Eclipse, what they love to do, like you said, that Sivir ult into maybe like a hard engage, a jungler like a Vi Pantheon. It's a great way to play the game. Now, Sivir is a great AD carry to take away, but that does mean you leave open like Caitlyn and Lucian, 2 of the other top tier ADCs right now. I like the pick of the Morgana support because that really is going to negate a lot of the pressure that Voidal will have with his Leona, as well as making it a little bit rougher to make a pick, because that's something that C9E also loves to run with these big pick comps where you just turn on the hunt and then grab somebody. You can't grab them if you have a black shield. Thinking about maybe Lissandra, but Pabivin goes for the Zed instead. How do you feel about Zed coming back in here, Spuddington?
He's still flicking between the champions, but Zed could actually do reasonably well against LeBlanc. It would be very much a skill-based matchup, but it would still probably favor LeBlanc overall. There's just no real champion other than Lulu that can destroy LeBlanc in lane, and there's very few that can stop her from roaming after lane. So you actually see some people that are very skilled on Ziggs trying to play the push game, but even one misstep means death. Nidalee, on the other hand, just plays a very defensive lane, might get pushed into her tower, might lose a few CS that way, but she probably isn't going to die, and she will give you a lot of options later on because you have that extreme poke, and you have that ability to roam very quickly, even though her ganks aren't quite as incredible as, say, a LeBlanc's.
Yeah, it's interesting to talk about the LeBlanc's ganking kind of possibilities. It will be going up against a Nidalee, and Nidalee's job early on is just to kind of survive and not get super far behind in CS. And LeBlanc, if they do max that distortion, actually do push the wave pretty easily. So I'll have to see that 1v1. We're looking for the last pick for the top lane. This time around, it's Fabulous that has to take that Shyvana. So I really want to see Odwamna pick an Irelia into that, just kind of teach him how to do it the other way around. But hovering over a Tryndamere probably will not be locking it in. Keep in mind, Tryndamere is sort of the patron champion of the Turkish servers. They did get that Sultan Tryndamere when their servers came out. Looks super cool, but unfortunately it is not going to get locked in. It's back up to the Jax top lane for Odwamna. looking to get his own hyper carry on against Fabulous, who, like you said earlier, loves to play those hyper carry champions.
Yeah, so he's going to have a lot of experience playing Jax himself, and while they're both very, very, very good top laners, that matchup in the long run will favor Odoamne, but will Pantheon be able to apply pressure? Will LeBlanc be able to roam? This game, Dark Passage have set themselves up to have a very, very strong early game. Draven and Morgana should be able to beat out a Sivir and a Leona in a way that even a Lucian lane, which they had before, would never have been able to. LeBlanc is going to have an advantage in that mid lane because Forbidden on Nidalee isn't going to be able to do anything really before level 6. And the top lane will favor Fabulous early on. It will get there is a situation of outscaling there. And even, in fact, Evelynn, her ganks pre-6 are very dependent on lanes that are pushed up. So in this case, it may work out for them in some cases, but she doesn't have that ability to really lock you down. She doesn't have as much damage till she's hit 6. So if Cloud9 Eclipse get out of the laning phase on equal terms, they're going to be very, very scary. But Dark Passage have a lot of opportunities to really set a lot of kills up for themselves.
And this isn't just any Draven, it's Holy Phoenix's Draven, who makes me say holy other things in there too, but Phoenix is what I'm going to go with this time. It should be like Holy Phoenix that did a lot of damage. And that's what Draven
used to be
does
with Holy
too.
Thoth. And I used to say Holy Thoth! But regardless, yeah.
Hashtag get Thothed.
How does that even work? I don't
know.
Thoth.
You know, I have yet to be Thothed,
like
and you know what? I'm totally okay with that.
I don't know, but regardless, though, guys, I think we will be going into a very quick commercial break while we wait for this delay timer to tick down. We do have a 3-minute timer. Last game, something weird happened, and we ended up getting into the game like 2 minutes late, so I don't know what's going on with that. Regardless, though, we'll be back in 2 minutes or so, regardless of all that. So, see you in a sec.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chaos TV coverage of Riot Turkey's International Invitational number 3. Once again, we have started somewhat late, but without any early action across the board. It's just a good time to get back into the game. Now, we've started with a little bit of a rough start. We did have blue buffs counter jungled from both teams, and now we're going to go for... Actually, it was a weird start in the jungle, because we're going to get both junglers with double buffs, but having to steal one of them away after a little bit of an early invade start. So either way, starting things out, junglers in the jungle getting their own buffs and going back into that. Interesting to see if Vivian actually trading pretty well here, auto attacks versus Naru, but I don't think we'll be seeing that for too long. As a binding hit through the spell shield. Yarnan takes about half health off of Holy Phoenix.
Ooh, and that damage that Draven's putting out, he got a lot of time to whack on Voidal here.
Yeah, Holy Phoenix, kind of a big fan of that Draven. He just loves to walk up and auto-attack you. Alright, well, it's nice to see Morgana with a sense of humor up there.
Zoning.
That's exactly what we're going to call it, Spuddington. I myself am a big fan of zoning like that. You get a huge advantage in your lane, you go up and you zone the other guy. And at that point, you basically have already won the game, because that's basically why a lot of people play it. And then you realize that there's things like scaling and late game and team fights and things that matter is probably a little bit more, but a very strong early advantage for this Dark Passage bottom lane.
Yeah, and Crystal M hanging around this top lane area. He did actually try for a lane gank, but Eliminate moved away a little bit too quickly. He's actually circling around. He knows, both of these teams know, that what is going to be, it's going to be a big determining factor in who comes out on top in this lane is who gets the first gank. And Fabulous actually is going to need to be a little bit careful, because there's actually potential for a dive here. Crystal M is coming in.
Oh, and there's a stun. Odwamna trying to do it by himself, but there's Crystal M. Will get it. Oh my gosh, into the brush, and Crystal just barely grabbing away first blood. And importantly, I actually just see Ko go for the dive there. Fabulous gets right out of range of those the heat spikes. Ku going for a very aggressive dive, but a nice flash. Fabulous keeps him in.
Yeah, and a really, really nice flash from Odoamne, because he flashed at the very last second. He would have been killed in an instant if he had stayed a little bit longer, but in his flash, he was able to take himself out of vision range, which made him actually do kind of all right out of that situation, because it baited in Pantheon for that little bit longer, who ended up obviously dying as a result. So that's not ideal, but the top lane is still roughly equal, and both these junglers, well, they're not going to be keeping those double buffs for too much longer.
So talking about the top lane, actually relatively even, maybe actually even a little bit ahead for Fabulous. He's doing the same build that Odwamne did in the last game on Shyvana, just going straight up aggression. But he's going up against the Jax as a hyper carry, who I feel like might benefit a little bit more than that. It's double Doran's Blades to start for him, so maybe a little bit behind in the itemization, but he's got to focus there on the early game items. And let's see how effective that is. Crystal back in the bottom lane, waiting just off the side. Dark Binding gets spell shielded, so shouldn't be any action down bottom unless Ku can come down for a flank, but it looks like he will be going mid, wrapping around behind Naru. Does have that distortion in there, and yeah, immediately distortions backwards and lands the chain. Won't get it to latch. Bottom lane Voidal will fall as Crystal finally finds the gank. I did not expect it to go that way, just because of how safely Cloud9 Eclipse were playing, but hey, gank's a gank, and Crystal M actually coming back for gank try number 2.
This is actually opening up a colossal gold gap in this bottom lane and a big experience gap now. Holy Phoenix is there. He's got all this damage. He's got quite a bit of CC, and Pantheon is waiting. Is he waiting just for a counter gank, or is he waiting to try and catch Sivir? His flash is not up, so I really don't see him getting a kill here. And I really don't see Holy Phoenix needing to worry about a 2-on-1 from those two. But Leona's coming back into the lane. Ku's hanging around, and Pantheon just left.
And now with the engage, there's a nice spell shield on a Holy Phoenix, really allowing him a lot of mobility in here. Ku goes in, gets a ton of extra damage down, but Holy Phoenix gets a ton of extra gold, 422. Off of that League of Draven passive. Dark Binding will get spell shielded there by Yarden. Actually, Voidal does get a stun now on a Holy Phoenix, who has way too much damage to dish out, and have to be careful there. That was some really nice spam micro on the last there by Voidal, but Either way, crazy aggression down bottom lane works out super well for Holy Phoenix, who, like I said, got a total of, well, if you count the extra kill gold, that's like 700 gold off that kill.
That is why Draven gets crazy if he snowballs early, and that's why you see so much gank pressure on that bottom lane. Even though top lane is a lane which could swing heavily either way, because of the fact that Draven is in that bottom lane, if he dies first, he obviously ends up wasting a large number of those stacks, and if he kills first, he ends up converting them. So big advantage there for Draven, and you can see he's picked up a full BF sword. Kianan, in spite of being the later one back, is going to be able to only pick up a BF sword without that Vamp Scepter that Holy Phoenix has.
Yeah, heading back to base right now, that's what we're going to see. The bigger difference, I feel, besides that, okay, yeah, he's going to get sustain items too. But really big difference is going to be in the supports. And you saw there in that gank, the Black Shield on Holy Phoenix just gave him so much mobility. Not that it actually gives him mobility, but couldn't do anything about it. In the jungle, though, it's Crystal. And once again, that's the second time. First game, now here in the second game, Ku just having his number, invading the jungle, taking him out.
Yeah, going for aggressive invades, because now Forbidden has hit level 6. Now he's able to roam a lot more effectively with his team. We actually saw this style of gameplay last game start much earlier from Ku, because he was confident in his invades with his team backing him up with a LeBlanc, who scales up much earlier. But in this situation now, he's going to start exerting that dominance, and Pantheon squishy. He's not able to very safely duel Evelynn if she gets ahead of him, and could become a really nasty thing to deal with. He will get this red buff, and once he's got level 6, expect to see him gank that bot lane again.
A gank in the bottom lane, would be good, because it is one of the only lanes that is winning here for Dark Passage, and letting a Draven win is something that can get out of control really quickly. So you do see those Boomerang Blades starting to trade out. There's actually a engaged perfect Black Shield again from this Morgana. I can't, I'm saying the champion name. I said Thresh last game, and now it's Morgana, because I unfortunately have no idea about how to pronounce that.
Like an E with an accent like that is like eh, isn't it? It's like, so it's like Trailbenere? It's not even French. I don't know why the hell I'm doing a French accent, but regardless, Morgana is doing very well, as you said. She's positioning very carefully so that her Black Shield, so that she only has the one perfect Black Shield. Because you know the way that this meta of Leona versus Morgana evolved is initially Morgana, she blocks all your spells, that's terrible. But then you started to see the Leonas go in on one person and then use the stun on the other person, so you have to choose which one you're going to Black Shield. But Morgana is now positioned very carefully so that Leona cannot do that, so that she has to stun the one person that she's jumped onto, and as a result you can easily just block it and then follow up with a Dark Binding in return. So Ku actually did just walk past the pink ward. He's heading towards this mid lane and looking for an invade perhaps, but I don't really see him achieving too much here.
And maybe that's like a Cloud9's trademark. You just walk by that bush. Meteos does that too a lot. He'll clear out pink wards, but he'll just skip that little bush. And I actually did that on Evelynn, so who taking a page out of Meteos' book. Walking by, getting scouted out. So Crystal Meth is going to have a little bit of an eye out on exactly where Ku is, but doesn't look like he's actually using it to his advantage at all, but is getting some help in that roam through the jungle by Forbidden. Will now return to that mid lane.
Yeah, Ku is now in the bottom lane. He's here for the counter gank on Pantheon because he knows where Pantheon is. He knows Pantheon is level 6, and this is a bait.
He's jumping in, man drop, right on top of the Slowfoot down, but we're going to have to watch out a little bit, getting a ton of damage down. Crystal forced to flash back out, and even though Holy Phoenix has a ton of extra damage, Spears coming in, and now it's Boyle right on top of Holy Phoenix. To jump in from Vivian, does take a chunk out of him. Dark Binding misses. Dark Passage actually get a little bit of an advantage there. Exhaust onto, or Ignite rather, onto Vivian. And Naru wanted to jump in on that, but Ku just did a little bit too much damage to jump into that.
Very fortunate timing for C9 EU there. Naru was pushed up, and that was what enabled Forbidden to move. And Naru had to clear the way, which meant Naru had to use his ultimate, which obviously then led to them not having it for the fight and them missing it. Which is a bit.
Ooh, Naru almost getting hit there by that spear. Holy cow, that's a little bit rough. Also, I've I've recently, my campaign, every time I cast an Italy game, is to stop calling them spears because they are actually javelins. And I had a track and field friend of mine like really get on me. He's like, I don't know what League of Legends is, but those are javelins. And we call them javelins because he throws javelins, and I'm like, they're totally different than spears. And while that's a seemingly cosmetic difference, made a lot of difference to him. So I'm clarifying. They're javelins.
It's the internet, though. There's always someone who's going to be angry about it because now someone's going to be mad at you, right? Because you're saying it's a javelin. Oh, no, wait. The spell name is actually javelin. I thought they said spear toss.
Yeah, it's javelin toss. Spear toss? I think there's a pantheon in here. So you're looking for a spear shot? That is what Crystal M does. So there's spears and javelins in the same game. And that's going to make it twice as hard for me to figure out which one's which.
We could do what the Koreans call it and call it a nuclear missile.
I mean, I feel like pantheons may be like a slightly non-nuclear missile, but those Nidalee spears are starting to hurt.
Atomic butt slam.
I'm a big fan of those, Buddington. Glad to see that we share something else in common.
Oh, it's amazing. He's basically Super Mario. In fact, it is a Super Mario-ning if you land on someone, like dead center, and it just kills them straight out. It's amazing when people are trying to recall at like a tower and you're about to dive them, and you don't even know you're going to land straight on them, and then they just vanish as you appear. And you're like, yes, this is the best thing in the world.
You just got Super Mario-owned.
Yes. And you're also a terrible person for saying that, by the way, but it is.
Hey, at least I'm not saying Mario. Gosh, it's Mario, man.
Mario.
Oh my god. All right, we're gonna have blue buff being given
Accents
over
are terrible. They make good people do terrible things.
It's true, it's true. Well, okay, bottom lane, we're looking for a gank coming in from Crystal. Man, he's not had a super great game so far, but here we go. Perfect engage timing. Voidal's gonna get in there along with Q. Tons of extra damage. Crystal just dumpstering this bottom lane. Hjarn is running for the hills, but a double kill comes in from Crystal.
And really, really nice damage coming out of Holy Phoenix, but Forviven is there.
Oh, they're just gonna jump on him. Forviven drops the barrier, but one more auto attack, he's gonna flash into the brush. Holy Phoenix going very aggressive onto this one. Jump, and the pounce gives more gold to Holy Phoenix. And Holy Phoenix, what a comeback. Spuddington, that was pretty good Pantheon ult.
Yeah, that was really nice. And that's brought Pantheon back into the game because he was looking pretty shaky. He'd been very, very squishy, behind on his items, and now he's going to be able to actually build... He's going to remain very, very squishy because he's going to build a Brutalizer as well as his Spirit of the Elder Lizard. Crystal M is a very, very damage-heavy Pantheon right now, but I've got to say, I'm actually not entirely convinced by the Brutalizer because it is the best damage item, and Kuzning died. And
then a flash in.
Am I headed?
Fabulous. Okay, I was cutting out a little bit there. Flashing for Fabulous, getting it done, and taking out Ku. And more than that, just getting revenge for how many times Ku has just been invading the jungle, killing off Crystal that over and over again. But this time, actually, Forviven dodging the chain there. Still a lot of damage coming in, and Dark Passage actually coming out with a little bit of an advantage this game. I know we were talking during the break, Spuddington, and we were like, Dark Passage took out Tick, Trick, and Duck, a team that has been very, very strong, not only in this season of Germany's EPS, but just as a European challenger team. But, bottom lane, we got Morgana coming in, looking for the flank, drops a ward in the bush, scouts out Hjarnan and Voidal. Voidal will get jumped in, but does have that Eclipse for a little bit of extra tankiness. Naru, right on time, looking to get that bounce in, and takes him out with nothing but that Sigil of Silence.
Report my team, KS. Roamed, lost CS, lost tower, gets kill. Steals kill. But, as it happens, that should give them the dragon opportunity as well. Though, contesting an objective against the Nidalee is very, very dangerous unless she gets chunked out super, super hard, which may happen now.
Now, Holy Phoenix does a ridiculous amount of damage, so does Naru, but turns out you actually need a team to back you up, with Holy Phoenix getting absolutely destroyed. Man drop coming in, it's going to be effective, but not effective enough. It's now Odwamna coming right into the fight in the nick of time. Made it there a little bit ahead of schedule. Fabulous trails behind and was unfortunately not able to help out. And off of both of the very high damage carries getting taken out, Dark Passage give away mid turret, dragon, and a ton of extra gold. Now 2,000 gold lead for Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse.
Yeah, that is a big deal. And Odoamne is also now very much stronger than Fabulous. Just look at how much he chunked him there. If he's able to get on him again before that.
And yeah, Odoamne, no questions asked. Double buffs and a Trinity Force for the appropriate amount of damage. And because we're on the EU West server, these tons of damage are actually with an E. And that makes them even more tons of damage than the North American Trinity Force.
It took me a while. Like, it really did take me, like, oh yeah, I forget the Americans are wrong about that.
Hey, it's all about that. Hey, we both use the standard system of measurement instead of the metric system, Spuddington, so.
In fact, like, British measurements are really weird. Like, they just change randomly. Like,
yeah,
we weigh
like,
sugar in kilos, but people in stone.
Of that, yeah, I said.
I don't know. It doesn't make a damn lick of sense to me. But who am I to question many years of complete nonsensity from everyone else?
I think the answer is a reasonable person.
Well, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. So
well, I wouldn't
anyway,
go that far, but speaking of being reasonable, you have to expect that with Holy Phoenix and especially Crystal Meth from the jungle has been doing a lot of work this game. They're gonna get targeted, but in that last dragon fight, Holy Phoenix was just like, "Hey guys, I'm super strong. I'm walking," and then he just died instantly. So Holy Phoenix has a lot of work to do as far as positioning. Also got a little bit ahead of Morgana, so wasn't able to get as much help as he would have gotten there. I feel like if DP just throws down all their ultimates, gets all their skills off, just runs in and fights, they'll be okay. But you also have to factor in this top lane matchup. Odoamne is having such a huge advantage now over Fabulous.
And remember, this is the situation that C9 really loves to play in. They're getting vision control over the enemy jungle. They haven't got it completely, and that may actually cost them here because they could be about to get engaged on, but they took the blue buff too quickly to contest. And with this situation arising, that means Ku is free to move between mid lane, move between top lane, and look to create picks as a result. And Odoamne is not going to be in trouble unless he gets into like a 3-on-1 situation if somehow Dark Passage are able to jump on him with that many people, because Evelyn can be there to back him up. And that whole mind game there is going to be a big problem for Dark Passage going forward.
You know, people always talk about teams creating picks. Why don't they ever talk about teams creating Lulus? Buddington. Always wondered that. All right, so Morgana's in a little bit of trouble. I'll let you think about that one for a while. As now Ku's gonna actually get jumped on. Tons of damage, but not enough. Oh, actually, the Whirling Death. The Holy Phoenix taking him out, and now jumping away, flashing out. Naru on the run. A spear. Javelin, rather. Darn it, I did it again. So bad at this.
Yes. The darkness is corrupting him.
A 5-for-1 exchange. Come on, man, that's a lot harder than it looks.
I for one know exactly how hard it is to say things intentionally. I mean, you open your mouth and just whatever's in your brain comes out sometimes.
I even thought about it ahead of time.
You're a true believer. Okay, so C9 Eclipse there took a big team fight. There's no denying that. They just took a lot of advantages. Remember, guys, this is match point, so big advantage now with the Baron picked up as well, and that gives them so much control over this game. I actually right now feel like Holy Phoenix should try and set up a slow push wave in this bottom lane. So that means go to the next minion line, take out the caster creeps, maybe leave the cannon creep up, and let a big minion wave build up in the bottom lane. And then when that pressure forces C9 Eclipse to split up, try and make a man drop engage, because that's pretty much the only way they're going to get out of this trap right now. They're stuck in a situation where they've got no real good options, although Kuda just gets spotted out going for the gank on Draven, so that's actually not going to be a big problem right now.
Yeah, good job there by Morgana, just saying, all right, I'm going to keep you safe while you farm, but top lane, nobody's going to keep Fabulous safe, and Odoamne just dove, there we go, dove him in that top lane. No fear, no thoughts about it. Now he's going to take down the second tier top lane turret all by himself. Then it's going to be an absolutely massive Jack, 7, 1, and 3. Holy Phoenix in the bottom, pretty massive himself, as Yarnan, though, does get to throw down this on the hunt. They're running away long range. The binding does land, but Crystal Met's right here. Boydle's coming around the side looking for a solar flare. Spear will miss here. Holy Phoenix, he's behind enemy lines, Buddington. He's not gonna make it out.
He tried. But it does seem like Triel, okay, Morgana may be able to escape, but it really doesn't matter because Odoamne, in the meantime, took away the top inhib tower. And that means now, even though it's a 2-on-1 right now, if he's able to get an arrow, he can take an inhib.
A jump over the wall there to Otama is just like, hey, thanks for the kill and the free trip out of your base. And he's going for another one. There's no turret there to protect Fabulous. Now he does get another stun in there. Otama should drop down there. Actually dies to the burnout damage in the bottom lane, though. We got some kills coming in. Forbidden will pick up one. Actually, though, that was top lane. Pushing the bottom lane, though, onto that bottom turret. That will be the second base turret of the game. Being taken out by Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse, pushing through the base now. Holy Phoenix kind of defending one versus kind of the world here. Bottom inhibitor is going to fall, top inhibitor going that way pretty soon here, and C9E finally crushing home a big advantage.
Yeah, they won't get this top inhibitor, but they're going to be okay with it. I mean, only one bottom inhib there, which is probably the best inhibitor to take if you're only going to take one. And they're going to have control over this next dragon, and they're going to have control over the jungle, and they're going to have the map pressure from that inhib, and they're going to have an open inhib to force, and they're going to have an incredibly strong split pusher in the form of Odoamne. So Dark Passage are between a rock and an extremely hard place right now because they have to somehow, A, get an engagement, because if they don't go for a fight, then they'll just get split pushed and caught and poked into oblivion, and then they have to win that fight against a team which is actually not bad at all at team fighting and also miles in the lead in terms of gold.
Yeah, a total of about 13,000 gold in favor of Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse with Spears. Holy Phoenix! That was a lot of damage, Spuddington.
That damage is pretty scary. I actually like what they were trying to do there. Actually, Forbidden call.
Okay, well, Forbidden's gonna die here. That's highly unfortunate. Spear critting him down for, I think, 500 damage there at the end. It was close. Taking him out there. Just got a little bit baited in. Forbidden's gonna go down, but now Yarnan's gonna get man dropped on. Let's just see if Crystal M can take him down. Speed on backwards. A lot of damage there onto Odoamne, but just crushing down Fabulous. There's the jump coming in. Odoamne finding another kill there. It's actually Ku that stole it away. Double kill now for that guy, as it will be the untimely demise of Naru going down. It's the Holy Phoenix, the barrier underneath the turret. The Ku barrierly escaping there. GG, well played. Coming out from Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse. They will, of course, take down the Nexus turrets and the $5,000 first place prize here in the grand final of the Riot Turkey International Invitational number 3.
I heard you say barrierly, by the way, just so that I'm not letting that slide. And really, really nice play from Cloud9 Eclipse. They got a free win in the first game due to Dark Passage not turning up. But in the later games, Dark Passage really didn't turn up either. They just weren't able to get any kind of grip on this game. Even though they had that slight early game advantage, they just weren't able to do anything, it seemed, against Cloud9 Eclipse's very, very smart rotations and pick-off strategy. They're so good at this playstyle, and it's really, really working for them. Don't think I've seen them lose a series in any of the tournaments I've seen them play against recently, and the very few games they tend to lose are few and far between, and usually down to sort of single or a couple of really, really dumb mistakes, like where they lost to Departed thanks to feeding a Vayne like 3 or 4 kills in one dive. So, really nice play from them. Hope to see more of Dark Passage in the future, but I think that is actually it for this Riot Turkey International Invitational.
And that does mean that we should probably give a quick shout out to the different teams that played in the invitation. If you guys want to check out the brackets, you can head over to, I'm just getting mine off of Leaguepedia, but it was first place. I think it's exclamation mark brackets in chat. First place went to Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse. They will pick up themselves $5,000. Second place will go to Dark Passage. They pick up 5,000 euros. 3,000 euros for Dark Passage in second place. And I'm not sure who gets the third place prize. There'll probably be a game between Tick, Trick, and Duck and C-Play, who will both be fighting out for that one. They might use a different scoring system. Either way, that means a total of 11,000 euros won today here by Cloud9 HyperX Eclipse. That's pretty impressive money, Spluttington.
Yeah, they right now, in my eyes, are the single best EU Challenger team. But the problem is a lot of their power is tied to the fact that Ku is an incredibly good player, and Ku is not old enough to go for LCS. So then the troubled times ahead for Cloud9 Eclipse, but right now they should be riding high. Regardless though, guys, if you like my casting, you may wish to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Spuddington. That would be mine. And Rapid is twitter.com/RapidCasting. So with that, I think that is literally all we have time for, and I don't think we're going to be running reruns today. Rauben, can you confirm that? No, okay, we're not going to be running any kind of reruns today. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed the games. Sorry about not having the first game, and sorry it only went to 3-0 really, because I would have loved to see more of the gameplay from both these teams. But I think that is it for today. We'll see you next time.